All right, very excited. This is our first Outtalent YouTube Live episode, and uh, our guest today is Giuliano Giacaglia. He is my very good friend from San Francisco days. He's originally from Brazil, but lives in Austin, Texas, in the US. We love to have a friendly sync once in a while, and we like to talk about latest developments in tech. And this time we decided to try to stream our conversation on YouTube, and it's going to be the first, hopefully out of many. And I think Julian is an amazing guest. He can cover topics like AI, crypto, tech industry in general, economy in general. And now he's an engineering manager at Transcend. It's an enterprise software platform that helps deal with customer data compliance, things like GDPR. Giuliano holds a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in machine learning, both from MIT. There, he collaborated with Marvin Minsky and Patrick Henry Winston in the famed Artificial Intelligence Lab. After that, Giuliano built AI systems at Microsoft, Facebook, and Bluecore. It's a company that personalizes emails and ads for the largest e-commerce brands in the world. 4 years ago, Giuliano published an amazing book about AI called Making Things Think via Holloway, which is an innovative publishing house focused on tech industry. I think they have a lot of amazing books in store. In that book, Giuliano predicted a lot of the latest tech that we see today. So I'm sure it's going to be an interesting conversation to join if you're interested in AI and tech in general. So yeah, thanks again, Giuliano, for finding time. Really excited to chat.
Thank you. Thank you. So I mean, we talked about AI, crypto, and the economy, and I think would be great to start about talking about the economy. Japan, as I mentioned, is I think breaking. It's finally breaking, and uh, I don't know if you've seen it on the news, but the US is bailing them out. Um, and I think this is a much bigger wave than what we're seeing. So Bitcoin, gold, and a lot of assets went up. I'm a big Bitcoin guy, even though in
Yes.
the past 5 years it has basically, uh, stayed the same. Um, but yeah, I think it's like a very interesting trend that has been happening. Like, yeah. Um,
I saw
Bit,
that a lot of crypto assets went up, all of the biggest ones. I forgot where I saw it, but it showed like Bitcoin was like 8% up. I'm not sure what if it's like weekly, monthly or something. And like Ethereum, and it looks like usually I feel like when there's something big happening, they usually all together go either up or down, right? When something big's happening in the global economy.
yeah. I think it's like one of the best indicators of what's going on in the economy, but it's the best indicator that there is a lot of printing in the economy, meaning eventually people will see inflation in some way. And yeah, it's just
When you
I
say
think
people is globally.
it's global, yeah, and it's kind of interesting because like this trend, like no matter what president is in the US, the amount of deficit that the US accrues is higher and higher, and the amount of it's like the Democrat or a Republican, it doesn't matter. Like money printing keeps happening, and the reason for that is that just governments can print money, and there's no incentive to not print money. Like you can just tell your constituents like, oh, do you want free pizza? And then everyone's like, yeah, we love free pizza.
It's
um,
crazy.
and Japan recently reached around 280% to GDP. So what's happening there is that their yields uh, are going up, meaning that the amount of, so they need to reborrow money over time, and the amount of money that they need to repay back is becoming too big for them. So they want yields to go down. They want interest rates to go down there. but they can't. They are trying to print money to buy bonds to reduce yields, to reduce interest rates, but there's not enough money. So like Japan is basically in a death spiral right now. It's just like a lot of inflation, and it feels like Japan is the future of the whole country and eventually the US. Um, so it's just like very interesting because that's gonna have like very interesting consequences to the US. So either the US like figures itself out, or things are gonna get ugly like in Japan. Like it's things are gonna spiral out because there's gonna be too much inflation, and like um the 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 disparity between people's, like how much money they hold, it's gonna keep increasing. So that's like, interesting thing that's
Did it
happening.
affect Japanese consumers already a lot, or is just a small inflation for them? An actual like iPhone prices or something like that.
So
Big Mac indexed.
yeah, so I don't know recently, but at least I think in the past year, like Japan, it's a very stable society, and even inflation for them is not very common. Um, and there was enough inflation for workers to pressure their companies to actually increase wages. So like I think, I don't know if it was Toyota or like a car company. I think they had strikes where they wanted their wages to go up, and they eventually raised their wages like 10%, which is unprecedented because Japan is like a very, very stable
They don't usually
society.
raise wages with inflation.
They don't usually have inflation at all. So like they don't even need to raise uh wages, but like they're finally seeing inflation. um Obviously, like every country there is inflation, but it's not, it's a very stable society. It's more stable than, I would say, the US. But they have like they have old population. They have, you know they have a lot of debt because that's just their economy is a little bit far ahead of everyone else. um, and then in the US, the same will happen. So there are two basically scenarios that I'm like battling myself. One is the US grows out of it. So that means that AI and everything else grows the economy bigger than what, this problem grows, or the problem grows, and then the dollar dies eventually. um Yeah. That's the problem. You're muted, by the way, but that's the problem. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
it's
would just say, have you seen this clock? It's
yeah,
crazy.
it's insane. Like $40 trillion. Like
Yeah,
it's a
they don't
lot of
care. It seems like they just push the problem. Like, what's kick the can down the road? They just like, push it.
exactly.
This is
Exactly.
the is this the good graph to look at?
Yeah, that's actually a good graph. Yeah.
Can you explain what happened here? This 2021. This is like year after COVID. Is it COVID related or not at all?
I think that's COVID related. Yeah. If you look at the whole world, it will be interesting to see like that in the US. I don't know if you can pull up the US as well, but I would imagine it's like something very similar. It went up. Oh, there you go. Um,
Like, I'll open it. US inflation rate here on 10 years. Okay, so
yeah,
it feels similar.
yeah, it's very similar.
So
Uh,
it went up 2023 January. Not highly correlated, but
I
yeah,
mean,
you feel like after COVID, it went.
it's very obvious after COVID, but like Japan kept, inflation higher than before. Like if you
But
look at
this
the
graph
years.
doesn't look too bad, 2026.
I mean, it's not extremely bad, but for like, if you look before, 2021, they
Yeah.
were like, at a much lower
Yeah.
inflation rate. So like, even if you double the percentage like every year or so, that's a huge change. Like, um it's not the
Yeah.
same, and that's the thing, it's not the same as the US. Like, if you look at the US, the US is a lot worse in
Nine.
terms
It's
of
crazy.
inflation, even before,
Yeah.
it's um and so yes,
Or
it's kind of like, it's more than, it's like double Japan. But like, Japan is a stable society, like they're not used to inflation as much as we
why
are.
did it go down? What happened in around June 2023? Do you know? Like it feels like it's got stable.
I don't think I don't think it's something that happened. It was like basically the money printing uh right around that time. Like, there was money printing and then inflation showed up. So there was money printing in 2021. Eventually
It's
it
when they
showed,
were giving out COVID money, right? Like trillions.
yeah, and then eventually it shows up in the economy. So like, people have more money, they start buying, and then because they have more money, prices eventually go up, but they don't go up instantly.
So
It
in a
takes
way, like this whole top part, it kind of was borrowed from the from earlier days, right? Because you were
exactly,
printing money, it's gonna show up next couple of years or so.
yeah, exactly. And then
Very
like,
interesting.
there was a stop of money printing, but the problem is that the amount of money that governments borrow in general is like, it gets to insane levels. So like, if you look at Japan again, like, it's not that, like, it went up, but because Japan is such in an interesting situation in terms of debt to GDP, they, like, basically, as you mentioned, like, governments borrow money, people don't believe anymore that these governments can pay it back in a good way. Like, they need to print money. So basically, rates need to go up. And because of that, governments need to print money even more to buy their own debt, their own
So
um,
let me try to find the graph. So you think the good graph is GDP to debt?
debt to GDP. Yeah. Um, but if you look at Japan, for example, like, Japan, it's hard for them to borrow money nowadays, and they need to borrow because, like, it's hard to match
Is
their
this a good one? General
yeah,
government
exactly,
gross debt to GDP.
exactly, exactly. Wow.
Okay,
um
so this is percent against the previous year?
Percent of GDP. So like, if you
Okay.
think
Oh, yeah,
that,
sorry, it's percent of GDP. Yeah. Yeah. But
if
it seems like it's not growing here. I'm just trying to find what's the worst graph that will show
no, I
that
mean,
would
this is
like go
horrible.
up.
Like,
Is
if
it?
you look, this is like, if you look at it, it's like 250% of the GDP. It's like, it's insane. Like, if you look at the 25 years, like, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, you need to pay.
Oh, okay.
What's a most normal economy?
L- l-
Healthier.
like, it's less than 100%, like 70%.
What's a good
That's
country to check?
I don't know if there's a good country
There's
nowadays.
no, there's no healthy country. Uh,
Switzerland, maybe.
yeah, yeah.
I, uh, but I don't even know if Switzerland. Oh, see.
This is 253%. 15%. Yes, that looks very different now. I mean,
But
if Switzerland is not healthy, then yeah, then we should redefine healthy.
no,
Right.
but this basically means that, let's say you're like a normal, like a person, and you make like 100K per year. This means that if you're a person, you own the bank 250K. and you make 100K per year. So you're basically broke. that's that
Yeah,
that's what it really means.
but
But the
US
thing,
doesn't care because it prints US dollars, and there's like a petrodollar, and the whole economy was so dependent on the US. Now it's changing. I see, right, with like what's it called, petro yuan or something like that.
yeah, I don't.
So US
So
can afford it because it was, I mean, it still is, I think, the leading economy in many ways. But Japan was hoping that US is gonna bail them out. Do you know what they were hoping for, or it was like just kind of like procrastinating in a way, delaying, kind of like Greece. It just kept going worse and worse until it collapsed.
yeah, I think it's more Greece. I don't think they expected the US to bail them out, but the whole economy is tied up. So it's not like if I think the US can print money the same way that Japan can print money, but the US kind of has that effect in the whole economy when they print money. And I think that just means that, and that's why they bail Japan out, because they can't let Japan break. Because
Why?
Japan, because there's this thing called carry trade where like a lot of people actually in Japan or other countries, they actually buy US treasuries. um and if they let that if they let the Japan break, basically a lot of money comes out of the US, and then interest rates go up. So if simplistically, Japan breaking just means interest rates go up there in Japan. um that means the price of money in Japan goes up. But because the like interest rates go up in Japan, people will take money out of the US and park it in Japan, because it's like, why not? It's a better trade.
Because the price of money is going up so much.
Yeah, in Japan. Yeah. So like the US cannot let that happen in some ways, because interest rates in the US will go up, because it's all correlated.
So
Because
it's so significant. Japan is so significant for US. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah, exactly.
It's not Greece, right? Because Greece is much smaller effect on the US.
Oh yeah, it's not like Greece or Spain or yeah. Um yeah.
Interesting.
So what's happening there is that yeah, Japan is like, it's a huge economy, and they can't let interest rates go up. And what's happening in the US, if you look at the 30-year interest rates in the US, it's insane as well. Like, and that's why they are bailing out Japan, because they can't let interest rates in the US go up too much, because that just stops the economy. um
Is this a good graph? 30-year
yeah,
bond yield?
yeah. So like even a few like percentage, it's a big deal. Like 0.5% is a big deal. um so yeah, if you look at, in 2020, um um
I like checking Switzerland. Because it
um
doesn't show. Anyway, sorry.
like that has big consequences to the consumer market in the US. And the biggest consequences is borrowing money to buy housing. So like the rates to buy housing go up, um, because interest rates are going up. And a huge part of the economy in the US is real estate.
Yeah.
So whenever you have interest rates going up, the the thing that is affected the for like it really fast is real estate, but everything else follows. So like credit card rates go up, borrowing rates for businesses go up, but also stocks go down. So like there's this saying that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, I think it's Warren Buffett, that interest rates are gravity for assets like stocks. What that means is that the higher interest rates go, like it pushes
It kind
assets
of
like
brings it down. So,
brings it down, because the reason for that is that if you have money, you want your money to generate great returns. And if you can basically give the money to the government and the government's giving you 5%, like it's better than if the government gave you 1%. So like as an investor, people do
yeah.
that trade-off all the time. Oh, like 5% I'll put it in bonds instead of stocks, or like risky stocks. So um so what's happening right now is that interest rates are going up, and that has an effect in the economy. Like it can slow down the economy. And for politicians like Trump, in the case of the US, um, he knows that the economy has a huge effect in the elections, so he wants interest rates to go down. um, and so that's why they are printing money at the end of the day to give Japan, because they want interest rates to go down. But it's kind of an impossible task right now, because if you look at the amount of debt to GDP in Japan, it's just too much money. It's just like it's too big. And so what that means is that, like, the Federal Reserve or the government is stuck into a rock and a hard place. Um, yeah, so that's like the overnight Fed, interest rate. So um, that's you have like different maturity.
What's a good metric?
No, that's a good metric.
Okay, okay.
That's a good metric. It's just that um, yeah, it's
So
just
Trump
that
is trying to bring it down to like what, like 2% or as much as he can,
as much as he can, as much as he can.
because people feel inflation very,
Yeah,
very
they,
much.
they they feel so. The reason why they want to bring it down is because that affects the whole economy. And like one of the things is that housing prices go up because people borrow money to buy houses. So that's the big thing. But when they try to bring it down, they need to print dollars. They need to print money. That's the only way that they can bring it down without adjusting the fiscal policy, without spending less dollars. Like
So, so the go ahead, sorry.
there are two ways of like reducing those rates. One way, which is like the right way, is to basically balance the budget. So that means that the government is going to spend less money, and then the market is like, okay, the government, we trust the government. We can, so we can give money to the government, and the government will pay us less because we trust the government. So that's the first way. The second way is to rig the market and to print money.
Usually chosen
um,
because, sorry, they don't do for the first one because it's just too complicated. Is that related to what Elon tried to do with DOGE? He tried to kind of make
exactly.
government more efficient, but it's just a crazy beast that even Elon Musk couldn't. I mean, he cut definitely some budget, right? But it was probably around 5-10%, no?
I We need to double check how much,
Okay.
but it was so low. It was kind
Okay,
of
okay.
like a joke.
It's like
Uh,
there's like a huge dragon, and you kind of you make some kind of scrape him a little bit, and then the dragon is still there. That's how I feel about
exactly.
US budget spending. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
And it's like, okay, s- let's spend less money, right? Like that's the promise. And then it's like they start a new war, they double the military budget, and it's like,
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it just has to, it feels like the system is just out of control and the reality has to kick in at some point, right?
yeah.
They have to meet the reality.
And I mean, that's what the investors are finally seeing. It's like, I don't know if I can trust these governments. And so that's why, like they're printing money. So like hard assets like gold and Bitcoin go up. And that's the big trend, I think.
Because fiat goes down.
Exactly. Because you're printing money. And I think the real solution is people get out of the fiat standard by themselves. Like they move to hard assets like Bitcoin and gold, and they just park money there. And that's what basically El Salvador is doing. So El Salvador is a country that did that early on. So my there are two sides of me. The pessimistic side of me is like the US is gonna, like, this fiat system is gonna break. There's like no way they can adjust the fiscal policy. The other thing that I think could happen is that basically governments and everyone start adopting hard assets like Bitcoin and gold, and then, yeah. And the interesting part, so like if you look at from around 2021 to now, it's kind of like at the peak, like 2021, 2022 to now, it's basically at a similar price. Like if you take the around the peak of 2022,
Mhm.
it's
62K.
yeah, it's like close to what we have right now. Finally, it went up a little bit, but it has been around of like 5 years of dragging. Um, And if you look at, for example, Tesla's stock, that's the same thing that happened. It's the same trend in the 5 years. It didn't go as much up, I think, as Bitcoin, like in 2024, 2025. But the trend of like going up a lot and then going down and kind of staying in a similar range. Yeah.
A
So
little more jumpy, I feel. But
yeah,
this is like 16 years. This is 5. Okay, this is a longer, yes. So in 2000 kind of 20, I think that when the COVID was no, that's
exactly.
still there was COVID there. After that, it started going up a lot, and then there's a bit of bumps. And here as well, yeah, I see the correlation.
And I think like risky assets, or yeah, risky assets, because Bitcoin is a risky asset, but it's also a hard asset, which I think has like two kind of behaviors. But they went up too much because there was too much printing, and it's similar to the inflation graph in some ways. Inflation went up a lot. It just delayed a little bit, but it went up a lot. It went down, and now it's going up a little bit again. Yeah, it's just
This seems
delayed a
less
little,
crazy, yes, because it's not that, yeah, it's
but it's
measured
delayed.
once a month.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
delayed.
delayed as well. It started spiking at the end of 2022. Um, but yeah,
So if the inflation goes up, there's more money being printed, fiat costs less, people buy Bitcoin, and what's the correlation with Tesla stock again? Can you explain?
it's the same thing. It's like,
Instead of US dollars, people buy stocks? Or
yeah, they buy anything that's like, yeah, that's not dollars. Like everything goes up. Um, and so like if you, yeah, so what I think is could happen is that maybe there's like a lot more printing and we don't balance the budget at all, and then eventually there's like a spiral out of control, and then the dollar ends somehow.
at which point you feel like it will be mainly about inflation rate, correct? That it will be felt and the spiral will be seen as the inflation will start kind of go up and be more challenging?
I think we're in the middle of it. It's just like it's very slow. Um, the question is, when do people realize that that's happening? And when is maybe too high? Uh, I don't know when people will realize it, but I think we're in the middle of it. I think we're in the middle of that spiral. Like, I think the question is like, how do we get out of it? And and the optimistic side of me is, okay, there's a way out, and the way out is for people to buy Bitcoin, gold, and governments to do the same. So like Texas bought some Bitcoin, for example. Um, and
Sorry,
if
who? Texas, the one
yeah,
with the state you live in.
yeah, exactly. And if people start buying, um, yeah, it's so small, but
I see.
uh,
But people started buying.
yeah, people are buying it more and more. So like, what I think it's possible and could be likely is that it's a spiral for Bitcoin, but on the other side, it's like people buy more and there's like more demand, and it's like it's it's just like, oh, why would I keep my money elsewhere? And that's like, if you look at gold as well, prices stay for a long time like stable, but now they are finally going up, I don't know if it's in the past 10 years or so, but yeah, it just feels like the end of this fiat system, because there's no way out. Like, if if Elon Musk couldn't cut costs in the US, like who is gonna be able to do it, like, I think I think the next president could be printing even more money than Trump, and it's gonna be even worse. And then, like, what's worrisome is that there might be like wealth seizures, like wealth takeover, like, and that's what's kind of like California. Like, California is proposing a wealth tax, right?
They haven't implemented yet.
No, they haven't.
So one thing I heard is that Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, had to move out of California and commute from what's Lake Tahoe. What is it in Nevada, right? So
Yeah,
basically, kind of commute. I don't know how. Maybe he flies in probably, but commute from Nevada because he said it's not about money. It's because it's gonna affect his voting shares. So he's gonna lose control of. Now two of them can control Google, right? Because they have like super voting shares and they have more
yeah.
than 50%. But my understanding is that it's gonna affect the voting shares, and so I think it's a bit unfair, but I feel like it should kind of affect, um, yeah, wealth in some other way. But yeah, I don't know what are the good choices there.
Yeah, I think so. The pitchforks are coming. That's the clear. But I don't know, like what's gonna happen in the US. That's gonna happen. Like, it didn't pass. It's not gonna pass right now in California, but in 2 years it's gonna pass or something like that.
I guess it depends also who wins the presidential elections, right? If it's
So,
going to be a socialist president from Democrats or like JD Vance or what's the Secretary of State
Marco
Marco Rubio,
Rubio.
right? I think this is going to affect quite a bit, no?
Yeah. So
Or both of
so
them, each of them was going to keep printing money and be more inefficient in government, probably.
exactly. Like, I don't think that trend is like, it doesn't matter who it is. But yeah, some are worse than others.
So
Um,
optimistic scenario is AI and all of the kind of innovations are gonna be kind of take cover that right issue inefficiency. AI efficiency is gonna cover government inefficiency. And the negative scenario, what's the worst case scenario?
I
Crisis
mean,
in US only and US related countries or global?
no, that's global. Like it's all global.
Because China is so interrelated also, right?
I would say China is even worse than the US. Like
Oh, interesting.
if you look at their economy, it's kind of like a house of cards.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like it's all real estate. The real estate was in a bubble. That's why they've been slowing down a bit. Like India has higher growth than China nowadays. Um, so
Interesting.
it's not like I'm not I think what matters for the world it's basically the US economy and maybe the European economy. I don't I think there's like too much talk about China, to be sincere. It's like, oh, China is innovating. Like
Oh yeah, we can continue maybe towards AI. I was gonna ask about China.
yeah. So going back to let me just finish
Sure, no worries.
the thought there. But like the solution would be, okay, AI creates so much efficiency, and the other scenario is what I mentioned is like people change to Bitcoin and hard assets, which I think it's maybe the solution that works. So it's like a transition phase, like because when you transition to Bitcoin and it's going up, you become so wealthy that like basically it changes the equation. It's like you can just print the US could just print money and own Bitcoin. And at some point they own enough Bitcoin that that dollar is value nothing. So all they're paying still paying people in dollars, but it's not worth anything at the end of the day. Or
Interesting.
the other scenario is that Bitcoin makes the economy grow so much and AI makes it grow so much that you can still pay the liability like what you own. But I just don't know what's gonna happen. That's the answer. Uh, I don't know. Like what I
Do
know
you
is
want to
that
share what you hold? Do you hold mainly stocks, real estate, crypto? If it's too personal,
no,
we
I
can
mean
skip.
it's mostly tech and Bitcoin. So like so the thing that I think it's like what's the future? Like if you look at 5, 10 years down the road, what's the future? So like AI is the future, obviously,
Think
right?
so. I believe. I wouldn't bet against it. Like the thing about US, I was gonna say, it reminds me of OpenAI. Sometimes I get
Mhm.
some skeptical about OpenAI, but would I short? I mean, I never would, but would I theoretically short it? Would I bet against OpenAI? I don't think I would. Same thing about the US. And yeah, so
You can
yeah,
chart it.
it's challenging.
It's like
OpenAI? Would you?
no, you can't. You can't like
You cannot. Yeah, yeah, but
it's just
it's
silly.
private.
No,
Silly
no.
to short?
Yeah, it's like short. I'm saying it's silly to short the US. It's like where are the best people going to? Like,
I think they continue go to US. The US makes it more difficult. Again, this is my business, right? Like
yeah.
we try to send amazing people to US, but the immigration, Elon and Trump tried to make immigration better, I believe, in the beginning of his term, like with H-1Bs and things like that. But I think they got a big pushback from their base, so nothing really happened. They were gonna give green cards to everyone who finishes university, right, in the US and things like that. But I think it got only worse. I just talked to a friend who tried to get a extraordinary ability visa. He's already in the US. He just finished master's degree. And he says things got harder and in many parts of immigration, I feel like things got harder. But again, like who would you want to compare it to? To China, India? No,
Yeah, who's
I don't think.
immigrating there? You know?
I think there are people immigrating to China, I believe, obviously, but I think it's incomparable. Um, what I see from immigration point of view, high skilled immigration, Europe, I think, is doing the best. It's EU and UK. They are taking in a lot of high skilled labor right now. It may change in a few years with the more right-wing parties like winning. I think it's gonna depend if it's like how rational they are. If they get a bit too emotional, they're gonna hit high-skilled immigration. But if they're gonna be rational, they're gonna hit only like kind of illegal immigration, like people running across borders, right? I saw a lot of videos from like Poland. Poland seems to be doing quite well there, like protecting the border, or
Yeah,
maybe it's a PR.
yeah. I don't know much about Poland, but yeah, I like my point there is that it's not necessarily about what's the policy, but more about what people want, and that's like a good indication of the future. Like if people want to go work for OpenAI, like that's a good indication
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
company.
I'm actually looking at these AI companies, right? Anthropic and OpenAI.
Yeah.
They opened first office they open outside of US is London usually. And now there's a little bit of movement in Switzerland.
Oh, that's
In
cool.
Switzerland, like Zurich is the leader. Is doing better in start. Zurich, what I like in Europe, it's taking in some highly skilled immigration, especially within Europe, and it's quite good for business. They are not vilifying billionaires. At the same time, they have good social programs. So I feel like Switzerland is one of the smartest countries right now in Europe in terms of tech and business and the economy. And in Germany and in France, I see quite a few irrationalities. UK, I think, is doing quite well from the tech perspective, right? From like startups, AI startups, fintech, American offices in London. I think it's going well in Europe,
Yeah.
within Europe.
So I just think the US is gonna keep winning. I agree with you. And then I think the question is like, how do we get out of this mess? And I I think that's the big question. And I don't
Can
like
we? No, we'll just keep going up, and there will be more hope. Like I wouldn't again bet against innovation, global innovation, right? There's gonna be. Oh, actually, I was gonna discuss today the new Moderna cancer vaccine. Have you heard about it?
I've heard of it. Uh my first my first reaction is that there is no there's no free lunch. Like that's where I it's like the GLP-1 drugs. Um
What's
like
GLP-1?
Ozempic,
Oh yeah, yeah, Ozempic. Yeah, that one. When I heard about Ozempic, it was like I was very skeptical
but
that
it's
you
the
can.
same thing, right?
My
It's
main
like
issue, my main understanding with Ozempic, what the issue is that you can kind of make yourself eat less and you're gonna lose fat, yes. But the moment you stop doing it, you have the same bad habits as you had before, right?
it,
It's
there are
like a
many.
liposuction as well. Like if I cut a lot of extra fat, but I eat the same way and sleep the same way, the fat is gonna come back real quick.
Yeah, I think so. GLP-1 drugs are quite interesting. I don't know if you've seen kind of what's the name uh, side effects, but they it has a lot of side effects. So, like for example,
Yes.
there are,
I had some extra fat, so if it had little side effects, I would take them for sure. I have like 10
but it's
kilos
not
extra
like a
than before.
literal side effects.
Yeah, 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 that's
Like
why I'm saying.
yeah, I see, I see.
If it
Uh,
had little, I would
yeah,
already took it. I would have taken it already.
yeah.
The main issue, my understanding, because I was considering actually taking it, the main issue is that the fat is gonna come back with the habits, right?
I think so. I think there are other side effects that people don't talk about enough. So, like for example, there are heart problems that are caused by it. So, like you can have heart problems, because your muscles, um, your muscles become smaller. So like your heart is a muscle. So there are a lot of heart problems that people don't talk about it enough. But for
Okay.
example, I think the amount of people that got sudden blindness double worldwide. Um,
The ones
so
that take GLP-1
no, people in
in
like
general?
if you get like people that have sudden blindness, the number double globally. Um,
Oh, sad.
and that's apparently a consequence of GLP-1 drugs.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I think it's related.
yeah, that's what people are saying. So like the GLP-1 is like the miracle drug that people talk about. It's like, oh, you take it, you're like, you're like, all of a sudden you're um you're not fat anymore. And like I just think there's no free lunch.
Yes.
There's no miracle drug. And like the same, that's my gut reaction for that
So you didn't
cancer.
go into scientific details
I didn't
about
go
this
into the
Moderna medicine. Okay,
scientific
no worries.
details, but it's just like a gut reaction, because also the mRNA, like
But mhm,
vaccines are like, they are super novel, like they are super new as a technology.
yeah.
So we don't really know what. And I'm also more like I'm more like an kind of natural, uh how do I say it? Like I
It's
prefer.
like conservative in terms of medicine, right? You want
Exactly.
to make sure it's like it should be decades probably, but mRNA we rush through in a couple of years, right? I took it actually. I'm much more adventurous with my medicine, as Brian
Yeah,
Johnson is like the one I show. He is extremely adventurous. But yeah, you are more conservative, and I think yeah, I mean, it's clearly, I'm sure there's benefits there, especially if you don't have like, urgent problems.
yeah, and yeah, um like the mRNA vaccines are very novel, and even like the COVID ones, there were like a lot of side effects that I knew early on, but they weren't discussed too much. Like if you read the
Yeah.
papers, like if you read like the European studies early on with the studies with rats, you could see a lot of the problems. So you could see that mice would have heart problems. There was like an effect in their um, they would have less babies in general. So like there are several effects for those drugs, and it's like they're using basically the same technology. And I'm like, I don't know. It just
Basically, you send you basically send the code to your cell, and cell prints the stuff that they want to print. They use the cell as a printer, right? Kind of.
exactly,
It's crazy
exactly.
technology. It's kind of cool, I think. But I totally agree. It's not enough. It's not studied enough. With the long-term side effects, we don't know.
We don't know, and the other part is that these companies have a huge incentive to basically say, look, this is gonna solve your problems, and there are no side effects, and it costs a lot of money, so you should take it.
Billions of people should take it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure the people are gonna study it, but it's cool. I'm glad. It's cool to see that there's some developments. Um, But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't jump on it. So yeah, I can see a skepticism.
Yeah, I need to actually take a look at it and study it, but it's kind of funny because with GLP-1s, if you look at Eli Lilly is now the most valuable biotech firm in the whole world. And the interesting part as well is that um, I forgot the name of the company, but the company that was like kind of the main company behind it. Um,
Behind GLP-1? Ozempic?
yeah,
No.
yeah. I think Eli Lilly, if I'm not mistaken, makes Monjaro,
Okay.
and the one that makes Ozempic. What's the name of the company? It's a European company.
Novo
Um,
Nordisk,
yeah, Novo Nordisk.
not publicly traded.
Yeah, so they're making a lot less money than
Oh,
than uh than Eli Lilly. So if you take that money in dollars, like that's not like it's a much smaller company. Um
um, is it because the Eli Lilly just has more drugs and more history?
so it's because Eli Lilly did really well in the US market and they focus a lot in the US market. Um
I guess the Novo Nordisk is it like from
it's a
Norway as well?
European company.
They just work as with a single payer, right? Where like Germany just buys as a country, and
I
then the
don't know.
US drug prices are usually by far the highest, no?
Yeah, the US are like by far the highest, but also it's the biggest market. It's the highest prices and
So for
biggest.
GLP-1 especially.
um,
I'm
yeah,
sorry to
so
my American friends. I'm American too, I
uh,
can yes.
it's okay. I forgive you. Uh, um, so yeah, like it's insane because GLP-1s they have some side effects. But if you look at the stock, it's being done really, and like the amount of people that take in the US, like it's supposed to hit 50 million people that take GLP-1s. It's like
Yeah,
what?
US loves selling people drugs like the depression, antidepressants. It's kind of sad. I feel like a lot of the issues could be solved other ways, but it's just such a commercialized country.
Yeah. So
It's
you're on my side,
in which sense?
being
It's too
conservative
old.
on drugs.
Um, I guess I have two sides of me. If there's a new cool drug, I might take it. You see, because I have this kind of adventurous side of me.
Yeah.
But if I really think about it, I understand your side, which is kind of more careful and conservative. So it depends. Like I would with COVID vaccine, I kind of took it. I don't think I usually took something too modern except the mRNA vaccine. I don't usually they do kind of crazy. I never took antidepressant. What's it called? Antidepressants.
Yeah.
I could. Sorry for the information. I could. Somebody offered me. They said I'll hook you up with my therapist or what's it called to give you. But I just needed. I just talked to like a psychologist, and over time it was fine. But I'm sure some people just take drugs. Like if a sad event happens, sometimes it's just
Yeah.
okay to be sad for some time, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just with US healthcare, I do think it's too commercial. I'm not sure if just going full Medicare, Medicaid, stuff like that for US, I'm not sure it's gonna fix it. I feel like if you could do it in a smart, efficient way, yes, but can this or next government do it in a smart, efficient way? That's a big question, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but
it's kind of yeah, it's always has two sides of it.
yeah, so Eli Lilly has done well, and I would say um Novo, yeah, like Moderna can do well. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Moderna cannot do
I
well
think
because
I think one thing which was exciting, sorry for interrupting, is that they used, I don't know if it's true, in which way it's true, but it was like discovered using AI. That's it.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, like one sec. Again, because these two topics are just so hot, a cancer cure. and AI is just, I'm double careful to believe, right? Because there's AI hype, and there's like either hype or fear, or and cancer. There's like always some news about somebody curing cancer. But yeah, here's what it says.
Yeah, with AI, it's kind of
With AI.
interesting. I was thinking about the market like this week, and I think there are two things happening right now. It's obviously like a huge wave, it's a tsunami, but I think it's very clear there's a bubble in some ways. But it's not like the companies that I think are gonna do the best are the big ones, OpenAI and Anthropic, and the big ones.
Yep.
The companies that are the
So
most,
OpenAI, you're bullish.
yeah, and like if you look at so when you think about their valuation, I did some math behind it. If you look at their multiples compared to like how much money they're making, the revenue, and like they're obviously gonna be profitable. It's like Uber
Oh,
in the early days. Uber was unprofitable for a while, and then it's like it makes a lot of money, and it's like
do
100.
you have an estimate on when?
It's hard to say because like some parts of the like, for example, the Codex is growing like wildfire now. They're like Cloud Code competitor, and it's like it's great. I use it, and it's like one of it's the I think it's the best
Oh,
app
really?
for coding. Yeah,
Oh, wait.
yeah,
There was another question I had for today. What do you use for coding? Because
yeah.
there was like Codex, and then Cursor when it came out. I think it was amazing. That's my number one. And then Claude Code came in, and now you feel like Codex is better for you use
Yeah,
Codex, and you don't use Claude Code and Cursor?
I use Cursor as well. I stopped using Cloud Code. Um,
Wow.
yeah, but Codex is great. It's like, uh, but for companies, for large corporations, maybe Cursor is better because they have more integrations that are needed for bigger companies. But Codex is it's great. I think it's the best app, and the model like GPT 5.6 so is great. It's fast. You know it's uh, very smart, um, and it's not as expensive as Fable 5. So the interesting part, I don't know if you've noticed, but OpenAI completely changed their strategy. And now what they say is that they will have the leading models at the best price. So that's why GPT 5.6 Luna is so cheap, or Terra is so cheap, because they're basically saying, look, we can make a small margin. The market's big enough that we can make a small margin and still be a huge company. And
So good
and
for consumers. It's amazing.
e- exactly. And then Tropic's bet for a while has been, we're gonna have the best model, but it's gonna be very expensive. And it's like that's Fable 5. It's like super expensive, but it's the best model. And it's called the frontier model.
Yeah.
And like there are like interesting charts of models. Oh, actually, go to router.com. uh so that's
Wow, cool.
part of ramp, but go down. I want to There's a graph of different models and their pricing. If you keep going down, there you go.
Oh, nice.
So if you look at OpenAI, see, like if you look at
Smartest,
it,
most expensive, correct?
exactly. And if you look at OpenAI, it's all on the left. There's obviously DeepSeek there and Quang, but like it's pretty impressive the pricing that OpenAI has there.
I'm trying to have an analogy, come up with an analogy. So I guess if we can talk about electric cars, Anthropic is Tesla, right? It's the leading one. It's the highest end. Chinese are Chinese models. It's clear they copy. Sorry about that, but yeah, we can discuss it. But my understanding that they're not too far behind, but they mainly kind of copy the American models. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I agree with you.
What's it called? Distillation that they
Yeah,
get really good at.
they still. So I think that's why, in part, Anthropic does they want regulatory capture. Like there is and that's the conversation that we were talking the other day about Dario and like Anthropic and OpenAI. So they're really pushing for regulation in the US, and they're really pushing for regulation against open source models. Because if you kill the open source models, basically you can charge a very high price because there's no competition.
But how do they explain it? They say it's unsafe, right? Probably.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's like, oh, it's very unsafe. You can create a bioweapon, blah blah blah.
But
Like
can the US actually do something about Kimi and DeepSeek? They cannot really do much.
they could start like saying, look, this is not legal, and then blocking. So like one company that helps distribute these open source models is Hugging Face.
Ah, yeah, interesting.
So you can start going after the companies that actually distribute these models.
Yeah, but yeah, then immediately there's going to be a copy, right? There's going to be a open source Hugging Face that's
But
not in the US.
but even there, like you can block VPN, like you can really, be really hard on and like go hard on companies that use open source models. So like if a company is caught using open source models, like they can be sued. So like the government can really go after.
That's hard for me to imagine that that's going to be the main scenario.
I agree with you. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I
It's
think
just,
that's what they're trying to
it's like
push.
fighting the whole internet.
Exactly.
Ru
Um,
Russia is trying to do it, right? With like regulating internet.
yeah.
It's just, I mean, they made it really bad now. It sucks, especially I think on mobile. So yeah, I have a bunch of people who sometimes go to Russia. It's kind of almost impossible to use. Um, Interesting. So what's your favorite model then? So for coding, you use OpenAI.
So yeah, like either 5.6 Luna or Sol. Sol is the strongest, and Luna is like if you look at that graph on router that you're looking at, um, like 5.6 is like high. It's like very close to Fable and whatnot, and Luna, it's like on the left. I think maybe yeah. See Luna high. It's so cheap, and it's pretty high there.
It's like this Mac, the new Mac. What's it called? For
Yeah,
Gen Z
the
people.
Mac Neo.
Neo, yeah, it's like if he has the kind of the same feeling. It's like it's still a
Exactly.
Mac, but it's
It's much cheaper. Yeah.
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 It's
So
cool.
so I like I think that's what's happening in in the market right there. And I think OpenAI strategy is really smart. And I think like if I would have to bet, I would bet my money on OpenAI. But like going back,
Really? Versus
yeah.
Anthropic.
Oh yeah.
My understanding was that Anthropic is much better for enterprise, and they are doing well in enterprise, and it's like a better market financially, much better. So Anthropic is gonna win by far.
Yeah, they were doing better in enterprise, but like part of enterprise,
Oh, your dog
it,
is there. It's nice.
part of the enterprise is using these models for coding. And if like OpenAI clearly is like, I think their strategy is the best. If they release a model that's the same level as Fable 5 and a cheaper price, people are gonna use that model. And they're about to release a new model. Um,
So
So
why would you use Luna if people can use Kimi?
so Kimi is more expensive there, right? Um,
Oh yeah, makes
so
sense. Wait, Luna is cheaper than DeepSeek?
yeah,
Crazy. It's crazy.
that's
Wow.
what, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's very cheap, you know.
I remember Elon wanted to make Model 3, wanted to make like 220K or something.
Yeah,
I don't think he managed, but that would be crazy if
I
um
mean he's making cybercabs now, but yeah, like I'm not betting against Anthropic either. I'm just saying if you look at the revenues and their growth rates of like these AI companies, OpenAI and Anthropic seem fairly valued. But if you look at the startups, if there's any slowdown, the startups that are, they are value a lot. Um, they are the ones that are gonna be in the worst situation because like their value as their growth is gonna keep at a huge rate. Um, but if there's any slowdown, like these are the ones that are the equivalent of like the what happened to SaaS in 2021. It's not the big companies. The big companies are gonna be fine.
what
So
happened? Remind me.
basically, if you look at Zoom stock is the best example.
Oh yeah. You mean after the COVID? Because with COVID, they people saying everything's gonna be remote. People will never travel anymore. Right? I remember I was doing YC 2019 and they were saying like everything's gonna be remote, no offices anymore. Everyone should sell their office. Zoom stock. And then I guess it was overhyped because of COVID, right? I
Yeah,
remember what was the social network for audio?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, remember? That was the hype.
Yeah, but like if you look at it,
Ooh. It reminds me of Dropbox. Dropbox is not doing too great too. I love Dropbox. Oh no. Oh, oh,
yeah,
Dropbox found the strategy. They're jumping a little bit, but much better. It's like here.
but if you look at Max, like they went up a lot and then
Zoom?
down.
Oh yeah, here. Yeah. I mean, this is COVID simply.
But that's what happened with a lot of high growth companies in the late stages. Like that's what happened to like the biggest example is Brax. Like that's why Brax sold to Capital One.
Yeah, that was sad. I like the guys. They're from Brazil too, right?
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
happened is that they raised at like $20 billion valuation at some point.
And then sold for much less, right?
Yeah, 12. So that yeah, it's
Oh no, it was sold for 5 billion.
yeah, which was a great
I mean, they still did
sale,
super well, but I was hoping
but
Brex is gonna be like global, like the bank. I still use Brex. I love it.
yeah, yeah, but like they had a lot of problems because of that. And it's like
But because
they
what?
are, I think they were the poster child of what happened during that time. And I think we're in a similar situation with AI right now. It's like it's a lot of hype, and like the top companies like OpenAI and Anthropic are gonna be fine. They're gonna do well. The problem is like these high growth smaller companies that are like at later stages. There are a
Like
lot
what
of
stage? How many billions valuation?
like
1 billion?
a,
10
a
billion?
few billion. So like Harvey is an example. Legora is another example. Um,
What's the second one?
Legora. Uh, like if you look at their valuation, uh, it's quite high. Um,
5
yeah,
billion.
and it's like sure these companies are gonna be huge, but it feels a little bit more, a little bit of hype and a little bit of, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I just feel it's like clearly, uh,
There's a company from Central Asia. It's like by far financially most successful company, startup. It's the first unicorn. Do you know Hicksfield?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
do you think about it?
No, I think like they're in the same bucket. Like these are amazing companies, but there is a lot of hype in general. So I think their valuation of a lot of these companies, I don't know the valuation of Higgsfield. Um,
It's like
it's a,
5 now. It's 5, 6. I think they just raised another round.
yeah, it's like
But their revenue is amazing. It's like $1 billion revenue, ARR or something like that. 5
yeah,
billion,
uh,
700 million ARR.
yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know much about Higgsfield, but I like if you look at the startups in as a bucket, these later stages, I think they are like a little bit overvalued. Not OpenAI and not Anthropic,
Got
but
it. I see a point. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. But to me, it's like it's very clear that there is a lot of talk about it. The market's growing and it's like they're doing really well. But on the other side, you have like SaaS companies like Zoom and other companies that are like Figma is another example. I think
Yeah.
Figma should like their valuation doesn't make sense. It's like too low just because people think, you
Yeah,
know,
because they think it's gonna be replaced.
yeah, and it's like it's not gonna be
I
replaced.
don't
They're
think.
gonna keep innovating. Yeah.
I'm bullish on Figma too. Did they
Yeah.
sell to somebody? Adobe or
No, no, no,
something?
no. They tried to sell and didn't go
What
through,
happened? Didn't go through by like government?
yeah, which I think at the end was like the best thing for Figma. Um, but their stock right now is struggling a little bit, but I
Wait,
think
they're not public, right? Are they?
they are. Um, but
Ah,
you know,
okay. Looks like Zoom. Wait. So it
yeah,
was it just went public last year.
yeah, and it's because of AI, their stock is going to like down, but I think it's like a little bit of overreaction.
Yeah. I feel like yes, I agree with you here on Figma. I like it more than Canva personally. Um, because I believe taste matters, and taste is in the small details, right? And with Figma, people with good taste can have more control. Yes, AI tools are going to be used a lot. I use them myself for a lot of design generation, but I'm sure there are a bunch of use cases for Figma as well. Plus,
Yeah,
they are using AI, I'm sure, as much as they
yeah,
can.
they are exactly.
Yeah,
Anyway,
interesting. How much time do you have?
I mean, I still have time, but yeah, I'm a bit tired as well.
Couple of questions. Let's do quick ones. Let's do real quick. Around new Apple CEO, what do you think? Are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, apparently they are like winding down some of the Vision Pro um, efforts, which is great. I mean, he seems
That was more
pretty.
Tim Cook's project, right?
Yeah, exactly. He seems pretty capable. We'll see what's gonna happen there. But Apple is like it's a iconic company. Um, the only thing is that they they haven't pushed into like a big area uh for a long time. So like if you look at Tesla, they are doing self-driving cars, they are like thinking about humanoids. For Apple, I don't see them pushing so much for new areas, but maybe that's just, part of the company getting
I
a little
watched
bit
the
older.
report. I watched the report, and they were imagining new areas for Apple. I feel like there were like some small hardware devices. It was not something big like a car. Um, my understanding, John Turnus is gonna be doing a lot in hardware, new devices, but they're not gonna be. I think one was like a Nest camera.
Yeah,
That
we'll
would
see.
that's speculation. That's not real information. Stuff like that. That's my understanding. I could believe that.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I mean, I think the proof is gonna be in a like soon. We'll see what's gonna happen, but I think it's just gonna take a little bit of time for us to see what's gonna happen there.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last two questions. Give us a comment on Tesla, what's happening there. And second one is robotics. When do you feel like we're gonna get soon to like good physical world AI, like a home robot? I mean, are you very optimistic or like?
Yeah, so I think Tesla is a story that people don't talk about enough because of the self-driving car.
Yeah,
Like if you try their self-driving, like their robot taxi, or even like their self FSD, their self-driving for
it's
like
incredible.
Model Y and Model 3 is like amazing. So I don't think people talk about it enough, and it's like it's a big story developing right now, and it's gonna be a huge business for them. The robotics part, which is tied to Tesla, it feels like the early days of like self-driving cars, so like 2013 and 14 of self-driving, when like Google was developing Waymo, and everyone was like, it's 4 years away or it's 3 years
Yeah,
away.
always. Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's kind of this kind of a long tail right now, of perfectionism. They have to get to a good level. Oh, I mean, for self-driving cars, it's more about perfection, but robotics quite a bit earlier. They didn't have a
Yeah,
GPT moment yet. So it's a
yeah,
little
but
overhyped with like a Neo, what it's called. The robot that's always controlled by a human. I think it can only open a door and it costs like it's like a $10,000 a year subscription. I may be wrong, but I'm optimistic. I wouldn't bet against again. I have
yeah,
a I have a friend who worked on Tesla Optimus,
yeah,
and yeah, he's like a little skeptical about all of this billion-dollar valuations, but he also wouldn't bet against somebody a year from now just making a breakthrough because there's
yeah.
just so many people working on it, a lot of smart people.
There are a lot of smart people, but I feel like self-driving in the early days, so it's gonna take longer than people expect, but it's gonna be here like the same way as self-driving. It's like, wow, self-driving is here now. Um, and we're gonna have the same feeling, but I think it's a little bit uh how do I say it? It's like it's longer than most optimist thing. Like it's
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
sure.
be here next year. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be here 2 years from now. It's gonna take a little bit longer.
First, we need to get a self-driving car in India, Kyrgyzstan, India, Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Giuliano, I love this sync up. It's the first. I think it's very good for the first one. I'm gonna edit the video and publish it. Very excited. Any last questions, comments?
No, it was great. Great catching up and great talking.
Always learn a lot. School chatting. Okay. Bye
Okay.
everyone who is watching. I'm gonna finish our first live stream on YouTube.